Hi there, baby boomers. I'm John France, author of the For the Love of Boomers book and for the YouTube podcast like the one you're watching. And today I am so tickled. We have such a special guest who is a boomer, but not yet retired. And she's so fun. And a master of the ukulele among all of her talents. Her name is Ruth Busalacchi. Good morning, Ruth.
Well, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. It's going to be great fun. So Ruth is a valued friend, and we met back in January of this year while we both were waiting to go on to the Molly Faye show, WTMJ here in Milwaukee. We were in the waiting room together and just started to chat, and we realized that we were both focused on baby boomer aging well and baby boomers and beyond. Ruth is a certified senior planner, and she's the owner of Synergy Home Care, providing seniors with support they need to function the way they want to. They are respected leaders in delivering aging at home, senior services, and their mission is to provide unique and dignified care and to educate my community about the options available. This is what Ruth is doing. She has a Bachelor of Arts degree in Business Administration, an Associate Arts degree in Human Resources Management from Concordia University here in Wisconsin. Professionally, she's been on the board of directors of EsserCare, and she's been a support facilitator at Clement Manor, and she's been on the board of directors for Wisconsin Parkinson's Association. She is a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and a great friend to many. So welcome, Ruth. And I wonder if you wouldn't start by sharing with us what's going on in these pictures that I'm going to bring up now, but you can start talking anytime you like.
All right. Very good. Well, I think what we're going to show is a photo of the Morning Blend show with Molly Faye and Tiffany Ogle. And I've been on as their senior expert, today's senior, talking about all things for people to understand what the future might look like. And I've been doing that for probably 8 years now, maybe once a month. It's been a wonderful opportunity to get the word out. I'm often getting calls from people after the show thanking me for the information. And of course, if they're interested in our home care services. And then there's a photo of my father and I. And my father had Parkinson's disease, and it really was helping him with my professional experience on his journey that gave him dignified care, which really did inspire me to open Synergy Home Care in 2010. And then there's a picture of myself and my number one fan, my husband of 40 years, who I lovingly refer to as my boyfriend because he was my boyfriend first. And that is Mark. He's amazing. And together we have a wonderful family of 3 daughters and 6 grandchildren and just really enjoying life.
Wonderful. So tell us, so you're at this place in your life where you're not retired, but you're looking at it down the road.
Yes.
And I was curious to know what kind of senior planning, life planning are you doing? Can you tell us what you're planning?
Sure. Well, it's in a great position because being in the business I'm in of helping people on their journey, I think about it all the time, right? And I see people who are successful at it, and I see people who are struggling. So, I've learned a lot from that. In fact, I met some really inspiring women called the Ukeladies on that journey, and I really love the way they're living their life. And so I think what I've recognized is that I want to always be learning something new because when I choose to retire, I want to keep doing something. And I realize it may not be what I've been doing my whole life, and I'm open to that.
Mentioned to me earlier that you're a doula. Can you
Yes.
can you tell us what And that's
Would
part of your retirement thinking?
Yes. So a doula helps a woman, advocates for a woman during labor and delivery. And a doula is not a midwife. They do not perform anything medical. They're just there to support the mother when she is in birth and make sure that everything that she wanted on her delivery experience is exactly what she's going to receive, her advocate, and to help with easing pain. And it's such a beautiful moment. And I've been fortunate to have natural births for all my children. So I just really want to be there for the woman. And I think it's kind of cool that I'm working on both ends of life. Birth and the end of life is also such a beautiful experience. And so to be witness to both is really it's a wonderful full circle.
And you have to be a special person to do those things. So you're
Oh,
obviously um, somebody who cares a lot about others,
thank you.
uh, I'm sure. So, what's going to be most important to you about retirement, in your retirement?
I like to believe that I'm going to find something that's fulfilling. I am not the kind of person that wants to sit and relax. I want to make sure that what I'm doing is fulfilling to me because I've always been about mind, body, and spirit. And what I noticed in changes in life when I started my business, that was a big change in my life. Prior to that, I was always wanting to get a better run in, run faster, run longer. That really helped balance me. When I started my business, it was so emotionally straining that I didn't want to run anymore. I needed something else. I needed more peaceful hobbies to balance me. So I suspect that that might be my journey when I do retire, that I don't really know which direction I'm going to go, but I'm going to make sure I find a balance of mind, body, and spirit.
So, you've talked to me about new experiences in travel. Is
Yes.
that still in your future?
Yes, I love to travel. Boy, you go someplace, you go on a trip and you love the place and you want to go back. And I try not to do that because our country itself is full of so many experiences, but just outside of the country, there's too many things to experience in life. I hope I continue to stay healthy to be able to do that.
So, when you put your retirement hat on, it's going to be a big change. What changes do you think might be hard for you?
What will be hard? Um, I'm a good time manager. And consequently, I can squeeze a lot in a day, but I tend to compartmentalize things. I only have 20 minutes to do this. I have to make that phone call, but I'm going to make it quick. I hope that when I retire, I can release that and take the time that I need to do every function or not, and mostly to spend time with people and not give them the sense that I've got to wrap up and I've got to move on to the next thing. I'm hoping for that.
Um, so, how have you always managed to stay so positive?
Oh, well, thank you for saying that. I actually believe as far back as I can remember, I think I've said this to myself when I was 5 years old. I'm a really lucky person. Somehow I just always thought of myself as a really lucky person. And I think many of us subscribe to the idea that your energy draws energy, right? Good energy draws good energy, negative energy draws negative energy. So it's been self-fulfilling. I think that the younger kids are calling it manifesting. That's what they call it now. I've been manifesting good things to happen around me because that hopefully is my attitude.
Um, I'm going to turn the question to a little different way now, and ask you a little bit about, how are your boomer friends doing, and what do you learn from them about aging?
Yes. So I tend to have friends that are always a little bit older than me. So that has been actually an experience of mine to watch my friends retire. Most of them honestly have been dealing with sort of a sandwiched life. They're either caring for a parent, an aging parent, and, often in the last stage of life, there is a lot going on. There are multiple health issues, lots of concerns. And so some of my friends are understandably a little frustrated. Their life is not the way they had planned their retirement. So I find it's really helpful for me in the industry that I'm in to just remind them and guide them and give them the confidence that they're doing the right thing now because it is temporary, unfortunately. And they will never look back and regret all that they gave to their parent during the time of need. So I see that. I've seen some of them sandwiched then between caring for grandchildren or even their spouse. So maybe what I'm seeing is people are providing care for others more than they thought they would in their retirement. And that can be a reality. I mean, life doesn't always go as planned. I also hope that by seeing others retire, my brother retired early and about 3 or 4 years earlier. And boy, he loved life. He really lived out all of his favorite hobbies and died quite suddenly this summer from a heart attack. And I learned from that. I learned that if it feels like it's time to retire and you can, you should.
Is wise words.
Mm.
One question would be, I have had my boomer friends say boomers need to stick together, and I was be curious to know how you would interpret that, or do you agree, and how would you stick together?
Well, I tell you, I am the last year of the boomers, so I am officially a boomer. And I appreciate that this population, they are the kind of people that stick together and they make things happen. They have influence. So I thank you all for paving the way for me because by the time I get there, things are going to be set in a way that helps all of us, that makes sense to our generation. So I'm grateful for that.
So it makes you've also made the comment that you're the kind of person that will just pick up the phone and call somebody, rather.
Absolutely.
And I think that's an important part of sticking together is communicate with each other as often as you can. Keep people feeling like they're part of a community with their friends and their family and so on and so forth. Great. So let's talk more about the ukuleles. So tell me more about your ukulele talent.
Oh my
Why
goodness.
why the ukulele?
Oh my goodness. So it's a long story, but we had one of those Christmases where everybody had to bring a gift and you drew a letter. And coincidentally, my brother, Andy, who I spoke of earlier, he drew the letter U and he brought a ukulele. And I was instantly drawn to it. And I said, that's going to be my gift. I made sure that that ended up being my gift. It's such a happy instrument. You can't even say the word ukulele without smiling. I don't know what that is. You don't really have to know a lot about playing an instrument. I did play the violin, so I have some musicality in me, but I just thought this is it. I like brain elasticity. I like the idea of trying new things, and I dove right in. And as I mentioned, I found a group of women. And without really knowing anything except what I learned on YouTube, I just joined their group.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
Well,
such a,
how
oh, go
exciting.
ahead.
How exciting. That's great. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's such a great stress relief. And I often say to people, you need to find your uke. You need to find that thing that instantly puts your life at stress release, whether it's gardening or I wouldn't have guessed. Well, I will say this. When I play my ukulele, I do think of my father. He was a very playful, silly, delightful, jovial guy, very, very much into music. Our whole life, we were all raised with music. And so I probably think of him an awful lot when I play.
Earlier, you told me you have a name for your uke. You want to tell us what
Rudy.
that is?
It's Rudy. It's my dad.
That's great. Well, listen, I'm so excited about the fact that we're going to hear you play right
Oh,
here,
yay.
right now, and we were earlier planning on airing this for St. Patrick's Day, and we moved it out. But St. Patrick's Day is the theme uh, to this, and I'm gonna get this going. Here we go. Let me see if
All right, my friends, it is St. Patrick's Day. You know what that means. Got my uke. In Dublin fair city, where the girls are so pretty, I first met my eyes on Miss Molly Malone. She wheeled a wheelbarrow through the streets, broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
yay! It was fantastic.
Any excuse, I tell you, I'll take any excuse. And
No,
let me
really,
tell
this
you,
is
John, I tend to find a song that reminds me of a person. So I'm quite sure there's a song in my future that's going to remind me of you and it will become your song.
oh, I can't wait. That sounds great. Well, Ruth, you're so much fun, and you are a master adapter. And we've reached the end of this recording. So, as always, I always want to wind it up with our themes that we keep coming back to because they're good ones. And the bottom line is we all adapt
Mm.
to our world as it changes, and we boldly go on. That's what we're going to do together. And as always, I remind you to take good care of yourself out there. And I also remind you that it's your heart that takes you places, because I believe that's true. So, John is saying bye for now. Ruth?
Bye for now, everyone.
Okay, great. See you next time.